Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name's Infiniti and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to place a buttonhole in your knitting work. It is a simple one row technique, so it doesn't take a whole lot, but you do have to be careful, and slow and steady definitely wins the race here. This tutorial is coming in at a time where everybody's kind of finalizing or working on their holiday gifting, and some of those gifts may include sweaters and such, so this is just a handy tip for making those projects. Without further ado, I'm going to jump into the tutorial. My button is about 1 inch, and I laid it out on my swatch here, and I wanted to see how many stitches it would take for this to snugly slip into in my work. So when I put this up against my knitting needles, I noticed that it basically sat between 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you might say, hey, Infiniti, those 5 stitches aren't as wide as the button. But that's what you want, because typically projects with buttons are ones that are worn often, so the buttonhole area is a high traffic area. You don't want a loosey-goosey buttonhole for your buttons because they'll never stay. So I went with the 5 stitches, and as you can see here, if this were attached to the other end of my garment, this would be a nice snug buttonhole for this to slip through and fit. So I've already knit inward of my project, which I always recommend, because you never want to put little additions like this on the very edge of your work, because again, that high usage area means that you're not only going to stretch those stitches out, but the yarn on the edges could be subject to break over time, depending on how beloved this garment is. So now that I have my stitches knit inward, what I want to do is bring my yarn to the front, and I am going to slip this first stitch purlwise. I'm going to then take my left hand needle and slip that previous stitch over that one. And this has essentially cast off our first stitch. Now I'm going to put my yarn back to the back. And technically I don't need to hold it anymore, but that's how I knit comfortably, so I'm going to keep holding on to it. Alright, we are going to now slip this next stitch purlwise as well. And again, bring that previous stitch over top. And yes, we are leaving our working yarn behind. That is how this goes. Alright, done 2. I'm going to do my third one. Essentially, we're binding off all the stitches that we'll need for our button. Now, if your button is larger than mine, then you'll want more stitches. If it's smaller, you'll want fewer stitches. Alright, there's 3. Let's do the next one. Alright, now I have all of my stitches cast off, and what I want to do is go ahead and slip this last little loopy that I cast off back onto my left hand needle. Okay, and then we are going to turn our work. Alright. Now we are going to come back here where our yarn is hanging, and we are going to create a cable cast on. Now the cable cast on isn't too complicated. We're going to move our yarn to the back of our work without plying it, and what we're going to do is slip our working needle between these 2 stitches like so, and we are going to bring that strand between those 2 stitches, which can be kind of tricky, especially if you're a beginner. So I recommend having a crochet hook on standby if that is the case, or if that would make it easier for you. Alright, and so as you can see, I just pulled out that loop between those stitches, way more than what I needed, and I simply placed it back onto the left hand needle like so. I'm not pulling this snug, okay, because I'm gonna want to work between there again. And because I bound off 5 stitches, I want to create 6 stitches here. You'll see why. It's technically that buttonhole ate up 6 stitches. Alright, so, oops, I always fiddle with this. But we're going to, again, bring that loop between our 2 stitches. Pull up a loop and slip it back over that left hand needle. So this is where slow and steady wins the race. Again. And like I said, if you need the extra help, you simply just grab that crochet hook, you yarn over, and you pull that loop between those 2 stitches, again way more than you need, and loop it over that left hand needle, and that makes number 4. Gonna do this again for number 5. Nice and easy, and then I'm going to make one more, which will make 6. Pull that loop up nice and large and slip it back over my left hand needle, just like that. This is what your buttonhole now looks like. Just looks broken, which is fine. This is what you want. So now we are going to turn our work back on the correct side. And what we can do here to secure this buttonhole is to slip this stitch on our left hand needle and then bring that last cast on stitch that we made over top that stitch, like so. And now we are going to knit the rest of the row. Okay, now we've reached the end of our row, and as you can see, our little buttonhole is here. So what we'd want to do is continue working our pattern as we would normally, so that we can reinforce that row that we just put in. So for me, I'm just doing some plain old stockinette, so I'm going to purl this row up, and I'll meet you guys back when I have enough stitches so I can show you that my button still fits. Alrighty y'all, I am back. I have knit up just a couple more rows, and I just wanted to show you guys that my button does in fact slip through that hole, just like it does the bottom one. Alright, so this is a pretty simple little technique to do, and it makes worlds of difference, especially in your garments. If you've been wanting to add buttons to them without all the extra hassle, or potentially doing an embellishment with crochet, then this is the technique for you. I hope today's tutorial was helpful for you guys. If so, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future knitting content from me. Also, don't forget to check out the website. I am blogging more these days. Hopefully that is a trend that continues on. Sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss out on other crafty updates, and don't forget to check out my other social media. I'm on pretty much everything except for Snapchat and TikTok, so I have a little something out there for everybody. And until next time guys, happy making.